What's up? It's me, Haley Jones, and this is a video by request. It is a map drawing of Cedar Bluff. So if you're like, what do you mean a map drawing? So I do some like drawings on the computer, but this is the one where I've used the iPad, which people have seemed to like because they've said it's been very helpful. So what I've done is I've gone over the area of Cedar Bluff, what Google says Cedar Bluff is versus what I, as a Knoxville native, say that Cedar Bluff is. And then we also talk about what makes Cedar Bluff kind of popular, what major roads are there, what is above and below Cedar Bluff, like what's at the top, what's at the bottom of Cedar Bluff. And then finally, towards the end, we're gonna get into different prices of residential areas. There's some popular areas in Cedar Bluff: Belmont West, Gulfwood, Parkwood, Crestwood Hills, Seven Oaks, Suburban Hills. Those are all different neighborhoods in Cedar Bluff, and you're gonna see that just street to street. Like Belmont West, average price point $861, and then if we go literally across the road, then we're in Gulf Park, and that average price point is $418. So anyways, if we go across Cedar Bluff, then we have two other neighborhoods, again, with very different price points. So, and then when, of course, we look at prices south as well. So anyways, go watch the video, check it out. Obviously, it's my scribble, so I tried to make it readable, but you can listen as I'm drawing. Hopefully it's helpful. And of course, if there's other areas you want to see, always let me know. And I hope you enjoy. All right, so this is Cedar Bluff 101. If you go to Google right now, it's going to tell you that this is Cedar Bluff above 40, and I actually disagree with that for several reasons. Because this part all down here, I also consider this Cedar Bluff, and I've been in Knoxville more than Google has. So I just want to point that out to you. If you Google, this is what Google is going to say, but I actually beg to differ. So when I'm talking about Cedar Bluff, I'm really more talking about roughly two zip codes, 37923 and 37932 partially, just a little bit of it. Technically, this is Hardin Valley, but this right here, this is all 37932, which is Hardin Valley. And so I still consider anything that's essentially, this is Pellissippi Parkway. I consider anything that is kind of this way of Pellissippi to be Cedar Bluff. So that is what we're considering when we're talking about Cedar Bluff. Your major zip code would be this, and I want to show you that that zip code, as you can see, bleeds down into this part just south of 40. So notice as we're looking at Cedar Bluff that, first of all, we've got some stuff going on. These roads and markers are like kind of random, but a couple important places to note. Number one is this right here is I-40. So I-40/I-75. Obviously that cuts through pretty much all of Knoxville. And then, as I said, this is Pellissippi, aka 140. So this runs like this way is to Alcoa, and this way is to Oak Ridge if we were to go north. So that's that. The other kind of thing that I want to show you is, if you're like, well, where's Kingston Pike? So if you know about Knoxville, you know Kingston Pike is a thing. So like this is Kingston Pike. So Kingston Pike cuts through just a little bit. I'm going to put K Pike for Kingston Pike. And then you also have Middlebrook, which turns into Hardin Valley. Now that kind of runs basically kind of a little bit diagonal or parallel, not diagonal, oh my god, parallel to 40 and Kingston Pike. So this right here is Middlebrook, and this actually turns into what we call Hardin Valley. So that is what that is. So this would be kind of all your major roads that go through Middlebrook Pike. What's nice about Middlebrook Pike is Middlebrook Pike lets you go from, like, downtown is this way, and then you go into Hardin Valley, or I guess it curves up this way, but basically you go into Hardin Valley and into downtown without having to get on any of the interstates. So that is what is special about that. Now let's talk about specifically what is in Cedar Bluff. So I want to show you, first of all, Cedar Bluff is kind of known as like, when I think Cedar Bluff, I think of private schools because you have this road here. It's called Dutchtown, and it kind of runs parallel to I-40. I-40 is down here, like I-40 is down here, by the way. But look at this. You've got Webb. This is Webb. You've got CAK. You have Catholic is, where's Fox Lotus? Catholic is here. You've got All Saints here. You've got Cedar Bluff. You've got middle school. And then up here you have Tate's. It's off the map, but you know what I'm saying. Tate's is up here. So I always think like that's where all of the big name, not all, but there, I mean, these are like, Webb is like the private school. And then CAK, pretty large. So Webb, in terms of like enrollment, these are certainly the largest, and Cedar Bluff is a Knox County school. But I just want to point out to you, when I think of Cedar Bluff, that's also what I think of. Now, let's talk about the top and the bottom of Cedar Bluff. So if we looked at this earlier map, I told you that you had basically, you've got Kingston Pike in the purple and you've got Middlebrook Pike in the pink. So again, Middlebrook Pike here, and then we had Kingston Pike here. Now there's a road and it's called Cedar Bluff. So that's this road this way, right? So if we go then and look at what's happening at the top. So this is the top of Cedar Bluff. Notice that first of all, this road right here, this is Middlebrook Pike. This is what later turns into Hardin Valley. What do you see? You see that there is a Kroger. So like right here's a Kroger. You've got an Aubrey's. This is like a little shopping center. There's Tate's, by the way. So this is the top of Cedar Bluff. Cedar Bluff, the road. Here's Cedar Bluff, the road, okay? So that's the end of Cedar Bluff right here. Now, what's funny about Cedar Bluff in general is that, let's look at the bottom of Cedar Bluff. Here's Cedar Bluff, the bottom of it. And so basically what's happened here is we have got 40 somewhere this way above. But here is the end of Cedar Bluff on Kingston Pike. And what is also there? There's also a Kroger. There's shopping. There's restaurants. Obviously, there's a lot more down here on the south end, but you've got, this is Main Event. Like you've got all kinds of stuff to do. Bradley's is over here in the shopping center, which is one of my favorite places. You've got Cedar Springs Presbyterian, kind of like a Hallmark church. You've got All Saints along Cedar Bluff. So Cedar Bluff, you have a lot going on. I will say that in my opinion, Cedar Bluff is the worst exit off of 40. It is a literal disaster. Now, let's talk about kind of some of the pricing for homes in the Cedar Bluff area. You've got some kind of popular neighborhoods and areas that are, you know, just they're kind of hallmarks of the Cedar Bluff area. So right here, this is called, this little road coming in, that's Briarwood. It's called Belmont West. And this is like, think about Father of the Bride neighborhood. Average sold for Belmont West is $861,000 as of September 2024. Okay, now, then if we go literally just like right here, this area, this is called Gulf Park. Gulf Park average price sold, no joke, $418,000. So this is what sometimes I think people don't get about Knoxville is one road over, like one road literally over. We're talking about $400,000 difference, okay, in average price point. Then on this side, we also have an area called Gulf Wood. And that's all this, you see that it says Gulfwood Private Pool. That's all this stuff here, Plainfield, all of this. So that's Gulfwood. You can see that name right there, Gulfwood. They do have a pool. Gulf Park has a pool. So Gulfwood, average price. Perception here is it's a little bit higher, it's $514. And part of that is because Gulfwood is more like kind of established neighborhood, whereas Gulf Park, this one over here feels like a cut through. So this feels like a cut through. and this feels like neighborhood, basically. And then you have a section in Cedar Bluff called, I'm gonna use a different color. This over here is all called Crestwood Hills. So that's all of this. All of this. So Crestwood Hills, your average price there is $380,000. So I'm just pointing this out to you because we went from 816 to down the road 418 to literally across Cedar Bluff 514 and literally on the other side of the road to 380 right here. So you have a lot of variance in terms of pricing. Now the other thing is all of these neighborhoods, these are pre-2000 built for the most part. Like there is no new construction in this area. If it is a new construction, it's a random lot that someone has basically torn down something and put something new. These are not new construction areas. There's just not the space for it. We could go a little further west, like this way, and we could get new construction. We might find pockets of new construction on a random lots, but overall, this is not really new construction domain. Now, if we go to the other side of Cedar Bluff, if we go south of 40, so this is, I'm going to show you kind of this part here. If we go south, so what I just did is I showed you real estate like up here above Kingston Pike. And now we're going to go south. So let's go look south and see what we see. So if I go south, several neighborhoods of notes. Now this is where some people are going to disagree with me. Google does not even agree with me that this is Cedar Bluff. I absolutely believe this is Cedar Bluff. It's Cedar Bluff in my head. I don't care what anyone says. It is what it is. So first of all, I do want to point out that Parkside Drive, that's where you're going to see a lot of car dealerships. Just side note, on Parkside, you've got just above 40 is like, is Park West Hospital. So like over here is Park West. You've got Discovery, which is the former HGTV headquarters. You've got JTV over here. There is a golf course over here that backs up to Webb, because Webb is over here. So that's just what's going on. Now, let's talk about, again, real estate. Seven Oaks is a beautiful neighborhood. It's like right over here. I'm gonna get it wrong. Yeah, Seven Oaks. Seven Oaks starts right here. So this is Seven Oaks. Beautiful. Think huge yards. Think established. Again, we are not talking new construction. Seven Oaks, average sale price is $707,000. Then, if we look over here by Cedar Springs, you've got, this is an area called Suburban Hills. And so I should have done this in a different color. Let's do this. Suburban. Sorry that it's messy. Suburban Hills. This average price point is $494,000. So again, when people are asking about average price point, it very much depends on like where we're talking about, because this is a $200,000 difference between literally not even half a mile. Okay, so that's why when you're thinking about pricing in Knoxville, it is very dependent on where exactly you're looking. And then, you know, randomly, if we go a little further down Kingston Pike, you know, you have like a random, well, like off Fox Road, for example, there's random new construction. But then also on some of these roads, like further up here, you've got like less expensive housing. So it really just does depend. But I do want to say Cedar Bluff absolutely, you know, is kind of a major hub. It is convenient because you are not overly far from downtown. So like down, like you can see, here's Westtown Mall, etc., blah, 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 going that way. And then that's going to downtown. So you are not far. And then if you're like, where is Farragut? Farragut is over here on the other side of Pellissippi. And then you've got Hardin Valley above I-40. So, you know, decent area, certainly a lot of variance when it comes to real estate and the costs. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Obviously, let me know what you think. I hope you can read my scribble, and I'll see you next time. A couple takeaways. Cedar Bluff, there's a lot going on. It is primarily the zip code of 37923, a little bit of 37932, which is Hardin Valley. This is the part that's east of Pellissippi, but traditionally people here would say 37923 is pretty much Cedar Bluff. Now, parts of Cedar Bluff, county only taxes, which we didn't touch on, but the stuff that's closer into Kingston Pike is more city and county, and then you've got county only, which is what is a big draw about that area because you're so close to things, but you're not paying double taxes. Some people don't like that because that doesn't include trash service, etc. So that's just a side note on that. Tons of stuff to do. There's a Kroger at the top of Cedar Bluff, there's a Kroger at the bottom, and then everything in between, from private schools to residential neighborhoods to very popular faith-based establishments. I mean, you've just got a ton of stuff going on in Cedar Bluff. Again, it is, to me, in my opinion, the very worst exit to get off of 40, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be in the wrong lane, and it's complete chaos. In my opinion, even trying to get to the Chipotle is a disaster, okay? Trying to get out of it's a disaster. I'm just telling you, trying to get to the Starbucks from the exit on 40 to Cedar Bluff is a disaster. So follow the signs, look alive, and I'll see you on the next video.